Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening. My name is Eddie Alberty. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships here at Market America and Shop.com. Super excited to see all the people filing in. Please use the chat. Let us know where you're from. Thank you, Tawny, for that welcome message. It's great. See a lot of familiar names. Um, I'm excited because this is something that both Tawny and I are passionate about. I think this is a great program. Oh, from Chicago. I like it, but it's starting to get cold. Um, I can remember not too many years ago, but our founder and CEO at the time, J.R. Reidinger, told me, he's like, one day we'll be able to earn on every dollar that we spend. And I was thinking, I don't know how we're going to do this, like for offline transactions, in-store purchases, if you will, shop local, basically, because we didn't have a name for it. And I scurried and was doing business development and came across a company that was able to track the transaction by a linked credit card or debit card. And so we started Shop Local and came up with a few slogans: get paid to eat, who doesn't like to, everybody eats out, or not everybody, but a lot of us do. Um, and what, earning on it. So you don't have to tell because at first I thought maybe we needed to have like a card that said, hey, I'm a shop.com or Market America and franchise owner. Not a bad idea, but cumbersome, to do that at the front when you're checking out. The waitress may not even know, who you are, what it is, et cetera. So super excited that we were able to launch a program. It's gone through several iterations. We were one of the early adopters of it, like we often do. We lead the parade, not follow it. But with that being said, there's other companies, banks now, Yelp, Groupon. Well, I think Groupon has a similar program. It's pretty, you know, out there that these programs exist. We have a great name. We've got you behind the product. I'm an unfranchised owner myself, and I'll get into this in just a sec. But one last little tidbit I'll leave you is I remember when we started this program, and I said, I'm going to go out and do it myself here in Greensboro, North Carolina, where the corporate office is, and I'm going to sign up some merchants because we needed to make it, be successful. We need to have some test merchants. Need to, make it work. And we were able to get a few, and some we didn't get. And I learned some hard lessons, like a convenience store or a grocery store might not be the best candidate. We'll get into that here towards the end, but um, I learned a lot, and through that process, I think that I learned that the beautiful thing about this program is it starts a conversation between yourself, myself as unfranchised owners with a business owner who's an entrepreneur. They own their own business, right? They also are probably married to the business. They're probably looking for a plan B or a side hustle or extra income. I mean, we all are. Everyone is these days. It's more prevalent now than ever than it was 10 years ago. But by starting that conversation with that business owner, it allows you to prospect them in a very nonchalant way because you're helping them, with their business and getting customers into their establishment. You're helping them, and they're going to ask you, well, what do you do? It could lead to a product introduction or product sale. It could also lead to the business opportunity introduction. And it establishes that relationship. And most often than not, the place that you're talking to, you're probably a patron of, you're probably already a customer of. And we'll get into that here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and start to share my screen. I can't see the chat, so I'm just gonna hope that you guys can see the screen. Message me, Tawny, if not. But again, thank you for joining this evening. Again, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships. What does that mean? It means I'm always hustling for you guys. I'm an unfranchised owner myself. So I often say we kind of bleed the same colored blood, if you will. I know the struggles and also the accomplishments or the feelings that you get whenever you start to have some momentum. Um, and I'm also appreciative of your time. So thank you for joining tonight. Time is the most valuable asset we all have. I realize that now more than ever with two small kids under the age of 5. Like time with them is everything. So again, thank you for tonight. Going to go through shop local really quick from a high level because we may have some people on here that don't even have a card linked. So we want to start there. Going to be quick. We're going to get in the meat and potatoes about why you joined, and that's how you can prospect and talk to merchants and get them to be part of Shop Local. So Shop Local refreshed. The program, you basically earn cash back at local restaurants, could be eateries, bars, bakeries, but we want to add other businesses to that, and I'll get into that. But right now, today, we have, where you can earn cash back at over 20,000 businesses nationwide. So we have a good footprint, not to say we have a good footprint in every, maybe rural area, et cetera, but that's again where you can help. This is a teamwork initiative, corporate, the field, that's what we do. Teamwork makes the dream work, if you will. So it's free. It's easy to use as a customer. Another good selling point to get people just to link a card, your customers, family members, next door neighbor, etc. And here's another one of the sayings, just link your card, set it and forget it. Because once you do that, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to tell anybody at the front. You don't have to activate an offer. You don't have to engage with an ad, etc. But you need to link your cards, and we'll get to that. Using the shop.com mobile app is a must. And if you're not using it, bad mistake, because this thing is with us all the time. I make a joke that I need to have come up with a new product maybe for us, double-sided tape that's the color of my skin, because I have my phone in my hand all the time. It's actually scary, my kids as well. I'm trying to break them from that, but it is what it is. And so by having the phone, it enables you to be geolocated, places nearby. And so we communicate through this, push notifications are really the best way that we can communicate with you guys. So you want to have the app downloaded. And when you're traveling, again, you've got the phone, you got the app, boom, you may not know of the business that's down the road. You may be in a hotel, maybe international convention, leadership school coming up. So again, use the phone, the app. Here's just a couple places where where you can find it on desktop. It's down in what we call the left-hand navigation, Shop Local. You can find it also in the mobile app. As I mentioned, move my screen here, and you can see over there on the right side where we have Shop Local. You go down at the bottom of the app and click more, and then you'll see Shop Local. Can't get my screen out of my way so I can see. Okay, so here's where you're going to hit the screen, whether it's mobile, whether it's desktop. I recognize where you're located, but maybe you're in Miami and maybe your IP address, it may still have you linked to Greensboro, North Carolina, if you will. No problem. Go in here and put what type food you're looking for and put your zip code, and it will give you offers within a 25-mile radius. You can adjust that, but I like to keep it pretty broad because, if you put 5 miles, there may be something that's 11 miles out that you want to go to. So again, you'll see the offers, just going to scroll the page up, everything from hamburgers to pizza to bakeries to even there's some bars in here. Couple things to note, there are available days. So there are business owners that maybe have a great weekend business and they don't necessarily want to pay a commission during their busiest time. And I get it. So they may opt to not do Saturday and Sunday, or maybe they have a really strong lunch crowd and they don't want to do, lunch on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you do need to look at that and also look at the available cards. Most participate with both, but there are some that get approved for Visa and maybe not MasterCard yet. So always check that just to be safe. Again, everybody needs to link a card. So in the mobile app or on the product detail page or the search results page, you'll see link my card at the bottom. Now, once you've linked it once, you won't see that again. But again, for new people or that maybe haven't linked a card, please do. And I link whatever I have in my wallet just because I don't want to miss the transaction. Getting a notification. I got a bunch of other meetings going on too. But you'll see link my card. Really easy to put it in. We do ask for the CVV, but it has nothing to do with, like making a purchase, et cetera. It's only the purpose of fraud prevention to cover you. So we don't charge any cards linked to Shop Local or anything like that. It is completely separate than the cards you have listed for payment methods or the cards you have listed on unfranchised for, auto ship, completely different. So this is a separate linking of the card. And again, I encourage you to do that. Get your friends, neighbors, et cetera, to do it. And there's going to be even more reasons why you want to do that. And I'm going to get to that here in a second. So the reason why you're all here and we're expanding Shop Local by partnering with you. Again, it's teamwork makes the dream work. We had this program in place a few years ago before COVID hit. COVID hit and it changed everything for businesses, as you know. I don't need to go into that or unpack that, but I think we all agree, it was a big effect. Thank goodness we're past it. But a lot of businesses just went out of business. And many businesses just couldn't pay their bills. They were, working hand to mouth, if you will. And so the program took a big hit. The company was basically chasing money, accounts receivable. We'd have people go in there and franchise owners and customers, and then we weren't getting paid. And obviously we still want to pay at the time IBV, cash back. So it was a problem, and we ended up having to move away from that. But here we are in 2025 going into 2026, and we're calling it Shop Local 2.0. So here's just some various types of businesses to jog your thinking of possibilities. And I'll get into that in a little bit more. We have restaurants, we've got bars. Those are great candidates. So if you go to a pub or you go to a restaurant, weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever, they're going to be a great prospect. And again, I'll get into that. The other nice thing about this is that you're supporting local businesses. There's a whole theme, if you will, or movement out there, especially after COVID, to go in and support your local businesses, buy local, shop local, all that stuff. So it's very acceptable what you're offering now, and it's helping small businesses, helping the community, things like that. So it has a lot of feel good advantages as well, not to mention the monetary, which we're going to get into, how you can benefit from it. So you basically refer businesses to join Shop Local and you earn extra cash back. I'll get into exactly how much here in just a sec, but UFOs who sign up new merchants for the Shop Local program will earn this extra cash back. It's 0.5% on all the transactions that happen at that given business that we'll call it sponsored or recruited. And you're going to earn 0.5% on all the transactions that come from Shop Local in that month. So for example, Tawny may not be in my organization, or even Elizabeth Weber, I love her to death. She's not in my organization. I wish she was, but she goes in there, or someone in her organization goes in there and they make a purchase. At the end of the month, we're going to take all the purchases that came from shop.com, Shop Local, went into that local business, and we're going to give you 0.5% cash back on top of that. So not only for your own transactions and your customers' transactions that go into that business that are in your organization, and franchise owners, et cetera, are earning cash back, you're going to earn an extra 0.5% because you're the one that, we'll call it sponsored, prospect and recruited and got them live. So all sales are tracked seamlessly. Again, I mentioned linking that card is so important. There's no extra work for you. You don't have to talk to anybody. You certainly can. You can tell them. They may not know exactly the program, but I'm sure they're going to show you some favoritism just knowing that you're a loyal customer, you're coming in there, et cetera. And the merchant doesn't have to do anything. They just transact as normal. And then at the end of the month, we're going to bill them, which I'll get into, but they'll see the success of how this is working. I mean, Shop Local has worked for many years where people will designate an area, a restaurant, excuse me, or a business to go in and they'll do a coring, or they'll do a one-on-one or a two-on-one, or a small group of unfranchised owners get together. Why not? It kind of makes sense, you know. So another good thing to do. And again, you're driving transactions, you're earning cash back, and whoever recruited that merchant's going to get 0.5% at the end of the month on all of the transactions. So landing page is live today. This is the page that you'll want to get the merchant to, and it really explains it all. So you don't have to be super knowledgeable. I'm going to help you with tips and tricks, and we're going to continue to evolve this, because there's going to be some of you out there that just kick butt with this, you know, and really like it and have an affinity towards it. And that's great. And there may be others that, you know, aren't as excited about it, or they have it in their wheelbarrow, if you will, of things that they can do or talk to merchants. But this is, again, it's a great way to initiate a conversation. And I'll just reiterate, anybody got a question, you can use the Q&A or the chat. Tawny's going to be responding if it's one she can respond to. And then at the very end, we'll do question and answer. So thank you. But this page has got all the benefits. What I really like, and I'll show it at the very end, I don't want to disrupt the flow here, but there's a video. So once you get the merchant here, and this page lives on everyone's shop.com site. So you can share from, you know, desktop, you can share from the mobile app. If you don't know how to do that, we can talk through that too, but you can share a link to this page. And when the merchant goes to this page, prospective merchant, there's several buttons to sign up now. Self-explanatory what the program does. Again, if they need more information, I'm going to cover that later where I can help you. Let's just scroll this page here. Let's look at it. Oh, jumped ahead. Sorry. Supposed to go a little slower. There we go. Sorry, it's operator error. But you'll see the benefits here, how it works for the merchant, all the buttons that say sign up now. So it's, I mean, it's in their face. The video, I think, is worth more than 1,000 words. And I'll show that at the very end. Just remind me not to forget it. But you can see here, you know, at the very end, I mean, it's talking to what merchants want to hear. They want to hear, how do I get more people in my business? Because their fixed costs stay the same. You know, they've got the cost of the goods, food, they've got their overhead with the rent, the light bill, the staffing, those things, you know, pretty much stay pretty consistent. The way they make money is getting more people in their business, right? Turning tables, if you will. And they don't pay, you know, advertising fees, et cetera, you know, ongoing basis. And I'm going to get into that, what we do for the merchant, but it's basically no risk marketing, and they can reach new customers. Now, there may be some existing customers that are also in that loop. And, you know, some merchants say, well, I really don't want to pay a commission on an existing customer. There's a rebuttal to that, and I'll cover that in more detail at the end. But simply put, even if I go into a restaurant once a month, me and my wife go in there. Now that you're part of Shop Local and I'm earning cash back and I already like coming in here anyway, I might come in 2 times a month, you know, and that's how customers will think about it. So there's ways to overcome that, if you will. So what's in it for the merchant? Some of this I've covered. I won't read it off. You guys can read, and we'll make this available as well. But again, to me, the biggest win here is the fact that you can open up a conversation with a prospect that's already checks a lot of boxes. They're an entrepreneur, they have their own business, you know, they're probably working behind the kitchen, if you will, or the cash register. And, you know, why not have a side hustle? Why not expose and expand and have an online business? So all the things that we can offer people, and they're a good candidate. There is a one-time $60 onboarding fee, but that's it, one time. If they ever don't pay us, you know, for a given month, we use that. It's not a deposit, but we use that one-time integration fee to then be able to still pay out the cash back that we've promised to you. And we learned our lesson dating back to those years ago when we went through right before COVID and then COVID, is that free is great. We did get a lot of people sign up probably because it's free, but $60 really is a nominal fee if you're got a business, you do advertising, and at least I hope you do, whether it's radio, print, mailers, those types of things. So $60 one time really is not an impediment or hurdle, in my opinion. And it's really necessary for us to have the success of the program. They don't have to install any software. They don't have to really learn anything. There's no code to use when they're checking out. And again, the biggest advantage is they're getting access to you, and customers that you have. So you're an ambassador for them, if you will, too. You're not just a customer. Now you're going to help champion getting people in there. At least you should. I would hope you would. This is what the merchant will see once they click through that landing page that, again, lives on each and every one of your shop.com sites. So it's specific to you. And what they'll need, and we're going to do some more of these webinars to get in a little bit more in the details for those of you that really have an affinity towards this, but I want to give you at least a high level of what the merchant can expect and what they need to be prepared for. They'll need to be able to provide us a logo. Obviously, they'll need to have billing information, and they'll need to put a card on file to pay that $60, and that same card we'll keep on file so that at the end of the month, we'll bill them, and then we'll charge their card for the commissions for those transactions from the previous month. I mentioned the one-time setup fee. There is a small, once we get them signed up and they do all these things, we then have to work with our partner to do the connection and make sure the tracking's in place. 95% of the time, it's one and done, very easy. They match up with the MID, which is a merchant identification number. There are few occasions where we may need to do a test transaction. Allison Abbott and her pizzerias, God bless her, helped us to go through this. And, on one occasion, we did one transaction and it showed up, but I was like, I just want to make sure it again. So I do a transaction, again, just to make sure the linkage is there. But we usually don't have to do that. It's great. Once they complete the store setup, we'll connect it with our partner. The store will go live. We'll send them a confirmation email that it's live. And then we're already starting to market for them because they're live within the app. They're live on the desktop, but there's push notifications when you're nearby. And we can get into that. I don't want to waste too much time on this, but when you download the app, you also need to make sure you have your notifications enabled. And what I found, and I don't really understand why, but sometimes when Apple, because I'm on an iPhone, when they do an update and you download the update on your phone, I have noticed for whatever reason that there has been a tendency for those notifications to get turned off. So if you realize or notice that you're not getting notifications from the company or from Shop Local, once you've linked a card and you're driving around and you're nearby known locations, let us know and we'll provide that email address, but you might want to just check your notifications. So very important. This piece is basically, I call it a leave behind piece. And this is where we start to get into some of the tips and tricks. In short, you may go into a place and maybe you don't know anybody there. And you may just be talking to the waitress. She's not really the decision maker, but she's kind enough to say, hey, do you have a card or some information about it? And so you can take this print piece, and for those of you who've been around a while, you remember when we had, product tent cards, if you will, and you'd put a sticker on it. Same similar thing. It's not the most effective way, because the most effective way is sitting with the merchant, or the decision maker, and maybe even going through the process with them or taking a few minutes and, sharing the link with them and seeing them click through it or watch the video, some sort of feedback. But you may not always have that luxury. Could be the busy time of the day for them. They may not have time for it. This is a great piece to leave behind. It's a print piece. It'll be available in the back office under the support materials. We're finalizing it, and it should be live within a few days. Again, we'll send a follow-up out where to find it, but it'll be under support materials. You could just search Shop Local once it's live. Should be just a couple of days. I'm hoping by Friday. But again, it does similar to what the landing page does, just gives a high level overview of the program. But the key is you want to make sure you customize it, put your name, because you want them to enter, who referred them if they didn't click through your landing page link. So you want to make sure that we capture that. The landing page, here's the URL for the landing page. We're probably going to shorten this a little bit. But again, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to come out of the PowerPoint here in a minute and just show you just a few things. But how to get started. I would first recommend make a list of where you go frequently, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a bakery, whether it's the dry cleaners, a salon, even the gym, even the gym potentially would work. Anywhere that really processes credit or debit cards for a transaction is going to be a good candidate. And again, make sure that you have a card linked and you enroll, because you're going to want to go to these businesses and show that you're participating, et cetera. You can even show, like I love it after I make a transaction and I get a notification that says that I just earned cash back. That's a really cool prospecting tool. Also, when you're meeting with someone one-on-one and you say, hey, let's go to, Elizabeth's Pizza, if you will, and you go to pay for the bill and you get the notification, you show it to their prospect. Like that's just part of the whole, as Jerry used to say, the cookie that we offer. We got the whole cookie and the whole shebang. And if you have any questions, if we don't cover them tonight, we got plenty of time. I'm gonna be able to go through many of the questions, I hope. But if we don't cover it for whatever reason, email us at shoplocal@shop.com. And I typically manage that email box with a few others, and we'll get back to you. So let me stop sharing. I'm going to take a look at the chat. While I'm doing that, I also, we got the bakery. I like it. Okay, some good questions. All right, I'm going to come back to that. A couple other things around tips and tricks. I got to look at my notes here because I jotted them down earlier today. So again, make a list of where you go. That's the best start, and you do need to make a list, because if not, you'll never get to it. It's like kind of making a prospect list when you start the business. Like it's just one of the things you need to do. And again, really, there's no business that's off limits per se, but they need to process credit or debit with a MID, machine, et cetera, or even if it's done, on the computer or the little tablet, if you will, but they need to process the credit cards. I've learned over the years that there's some places I wouldn't like waste my time with, but I don't want to discourage anybody because it could be done. But a grocery store, for example, maybe it's a singly owned grocery store, not a Publix or a Harris Teeter. We have Lowe's Foods here, but the bigger ones are going to, make those decisions at corporate. Same thing with a franchise restaurant. They're going to probably make those decisions at corporate. The individual location may not have that autonomy. So just keep that in mind. Again, I don't want to be negative about it, but just want to guide you as best I can. But a grocery store has very slim margins. So to give us a commission percentage, which equals how we're able to pay cash back and how we're able to give the rewards, et cetera, it's unlikely that they can usually meet what our requirements are, if you will. They're a volume-based business, and so restaurants are great. Most restaurants have participated with Groupon. Groupon, from what I recall, and I haven't checked lately, but they hit them pretty big with like a first-time discount or offer. I've heard merchants don't make anything on that first one. They're hoping just to acquire new people. And we don't want to have that kind of feeling with them. So it's a small commission, 15%. We thought we can consider doing lower. That's where maybe you'll want to contact the email box. Ultimately, I'll get in touch with you. I'll help navigate through that, because I don't want to turn down a convenience store or a grocery store if we had one, even if it meant lower commission. I would try to make that work. But the reality is it's tougher to do. Salons can also be a little tough only because sometimes they have multiple people that have, like in a hair salon, that may be doing booth rental. So that individual may not have necessary control over that MID checkout, and when I say MID, merchant identification, matching up with our linked card, they may not necessarily control that. As well as in some salons that are service based, they're cutting your hair or they're doing nails, they sell products in many cases. And I ran across some business owners want to pay on the service side, but they don't want to pay if you bought a product, when you're checking out, a shampoo or a nail kit or, whatever it may be. And I understand that, but we can't differentiate. So anything that goes through on that, when they process your checkout on the card, we're going to bill them for. Again, doesn't discourage you. I just want to kind of address some of the pitfalls, some of the rebuttals, if you will, that you may hear. The way I typically introduce the opportunities, I just say, hey, the company that I represent, shop.com, obviously a great name, so you should leverage that, has a shop local program. Would you be interested in gaining exposure to our millions of customers coming into your business? It's a performance-based model because, again, they only pay a commission when somebody actually eats. Yes, they pay the one-time $60 integration fee, but just the exposure they're getting, that's like a drop in the bucket is when it comes to advertising deals. Okay, so I'm getting some messages. I'm going to get to the questions, I promise you. The last piece I'll say too is I'll make myself available if the situation is right and someone needs a little push. Maybe they're a bigger restaurant. Maybe they're part of a franchise. Maybe we do need to talk to corporate and they're interested. Great. I'm happy to help do that. It may be a little harder to do. And so, but I'll do everything I can to help assist. And then we will plan to schedule a webinar either in December or if because of the holidays it becomes problematic, it may be in January, but I'm hopeful that many of you on the call will go and approach and be able to get a merchant. So once we have some success stories, I would love to do another webinar and invite some of you on as a panelist to be able to share what worked for you, or maybe what the struggle was, but how you got it done and what's working for you, et cetera. So it's not just coming from me, because honestly, I'm a little out of touch of late, but I'm going to get back in the grooves now that it's live. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the questions. I'm going to just start from the bottom up. Hey, Carmen, how are you, by the way? What is the percentage of commission that the merchants pay to Market America? Again, we have a little flexibility here, but what we're trying to do, we want it to be 15%. And I'll tell you why. Most of the businesses that we have on today, we show at 5% cash back. And Tawny, if I'm wrong, you have to message in the chat, but I think I'm right here. What we want to do is with the merchants that you bring on, we want to show a higher cash back than what other merchants are showing. We want to show not only a higher cash back, but maybe even a little way to identify them, a badge, just make them stand out. Because again, if unfranchised owners notice the higher cash back, they're going to be more inclined to go there. If they notice that there's a badge, they're going to say, oh, well, one of my fellow unfranchised owners has brought that merchant on. I'm going to be more inclined to support them than going to the pizza shop that doesn't pay the extra cash back or doesn't have that badge. Okay, I'm going down the bottom. I can't keep up with you guys. Do the local addresses come up on the app? It used to, but I think we stripped that information. I don't think we include the physical address, but let's just look. While I'm saying that, I don't want to speak wrong about it. Oh, is everybody having a good night tonight? I know I can't hear you, but it's great to see the chat. Okay, so let me just look here because I want to make sure. Yeah, so we're not showing the addresses. Oh, we are showing the addresses. I'm so sorry. But again, the best way is to have the app where it's showing you, hey, you're nearby Mario's Pizza, and you'll get a notification. Okay, I'm going to go up to the beginning. Oh, thank you, Tawny. Tawny summarized some for me. This is great. It's like AI. Tawny's like AI for me. I love it. Will it be launched in Canada also? So we have a Canadian, we have Shop Local in every market, but it just works a little differently in every market. In Canada, you have to actually upload a receipt. So there's some interactions with the merchant. The merchant has to approve those receipts within a 7-day period. It's just a completely different model. But as far as the referral part goes, I'm inclined to say yes, we would like to implement this in Canada. We just need to get it launched in the US first and see how that goes. 0.5% cash back to the unfranchised owner on all the transactions from that merchant in the month, whether it's people within their organization or people with outside of their organization. So all transactions from Shop Local, they're going to get a 0.5% at the very end of the month. Okay. Okay. Who do we already have a relationship with? So, and I'm transparent here. So we work with a couple different partners, and a lot of what this local card linked offer program is it's Groupon, Yelp, that has merchants, et cetera. Rewards Network is another one. And what they do is they have these merchant relationships. And because they do, they'll then take that same merchant offer and they'll syndicate it to Bank of America. They'll syndicate it to Shop Local. And when I say syndicate, meaning they'll share it, the same information will show up on that platform too. And it just is ways to help the business, the merchant, because ultimately, if they have exposure in other places, they're going to get more traffic coming in there. We haven't opted in to share our merchants, but we may. That may be something that we end up doing because, again, it's more sales. So anyway, that's gas stations. They're tough, but they may award on the in-store concessions. You know how when you're pumping gas, they're always trying to get you to go in the store. There's maybe an offer, buy a drink, get a candy bar, or whatever. It's because they want you to come in there because they know you're going to buy some stuff versus just at the pump getting the gas. Hard to get a commission on gas, but there are, just speaking outside of this, there are programs out there that you can earn at the gas pump, which we can talk about another topic another day. Okay. So when we first had the program, we did have a nice square sticker that represented shop.com and, Shop Local. It's a great idea. I think it really all depends on more activity. And when I say more activity, I'm just going to be real candid. You guys are like family to me. So we need more of us, me included, using Shop Local, whether you go to recruit a merchant or you're just going in to make a transaction, because it's really based on volume. Like we need people using this program. And if we have people using the program, the merchant recruitment side will come. And then, sure, I think a sticker makes sense. It's a nice way to identify themselves. And usually the merchants will put it up, no problem. They already have like 15 stickers already with DoorDash and, whatever they're participating with. So I think it's a great idea, something that would love to implement. But again, we really need to partner together. We need your help. And I encourage you tonight or tomorrow, find some businesses that are nearby. If you haven't done so already, make a transaction. If you have any issues, let me know. But get the notification, and you'll be more inclined to talk about it with merchants if you understand the program or you're a user of it. Okay, so let's look here. I appreciate all the compliments. Thank you. I'm really not doing anything that any of you wouldn't do for me. And that's the way I look at it. And I am passionate about this program because I think it's a really good, feel good, type initiative, but it also can earn you some extra cash back. And again, I can't reiterate it more. The bigger opportunity is, yeah, you get the merchant on, sure, you get a 0.5% cash back, great. but you now establish a relationship with them. Um, and feel free to expand on that, products, the business opportunity, other things that we have. It could be iTransact and payment processing. So there's a lot of things there. Okay. Is there a list of the type of businesses that would work best? Great question. I think I've named a few, but it might not be a bad idea, Tawny, as a takeaway for us to, as another support material, to maybe list, maybe not a huge extensive list, but maybe what we feel like are the best opportunities to approach. Again, restaurants, bars, they're easy. Many of them are already participating with similar types of programs, so they'd be familiar with it. I'm seeing Canada quite a bit, so I think that that's something we need to. I'm gonna make a note right now before I forget, because it's something we should look at. Because we do want to make that program better as well. Okay. I'm gonna go down here to the bottom, and Tawny, you can message me if I miss anything. What are the most? Okay, this is good because again, we're talking about tips, tricks, shortcuts, etc. And I don't know them all, but I've been around a few times and done this, and I want to hear from you guys once you start doing it. But what are some of the benefits that you can highlight to a potential merchant? The landing page really covers all that. So again, get them to that landing page. I think that most of their questions are going to be answered right there. And I don't want to forget to show you the video at the end, because I think the video really does it for me if I was a business or a merchant. How do you recommend positioning the cashback benefit to make it compelling for both merchants and customers? I mean, cash is king, like loyalty programs are great. IBV was good for me personally, being, working at corporate. I don't have the hugest of organizations. I just wasn't earning IBV checks. So cashback to me is like an earlier instant win for that new unfranchised owner. If I show you my shop.com right now, you'll see I got like $65 in my VIFT account, which is all from really partner store purchases, some retail profit in there. But I like having a little money in there when I'm showing a prospect to my website, like, oh, you get $65 in your VIFT wallet? What is the VIFT wallet? It just opens the door for conversations. But I like the cash benefit. I think merchants understand it. It's not a discount off of their meal price, which a lot of them hate to do that. Like Groupon, et cetera, even though it was a necessary evil, many of them don't like that. But they do like a rebate or a loyalty piece to it. Because again, some of these restaurants don't even have a loyalty program. Some do. Maybe it's not done very well, but you can double dip there. You go in, you make a purchase, you can participate in their loyalty program too, where it's maybe earning points for your next free entree or whatever it may be. But most businesses will understand cash back as a rebate. Okay. Where do we get the video on YouTube? Again, it's going to be on your shop.com site on this landing page, which I'll share the URL maybe in the chat as well as we're doing the video, just so you have it. I do think we probably need to shorten the URL if we can, but those are kind of outside of my wheelhouse, but some of the things we were talking about today. Oh, wow. All right, Tammy. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, you did. You had your business on the first version of Shop Local. So great. Um, and yes, if a UFO has a small business, yes, they can do this. I suggest that you sign yourself up. And the only business that maybe I didn't approach this, but there are some businesses that are kind of off limits, but they're pretty obvious. Gambling, adult types of things, a lot of things that are health insurance related, because there's laws around that. They can't really pay a cashback or a kickback. I'm not saying it won't work maybe at a chiropractor if they're not taking insurance, or an acupuncturist or something, but most places that are taking insurance, et cetera, it's not a good fit for it. Oh, thank you, Tony, for putting that link in there. It's great. I tell you, Tony and I make a good team, right? Can a food truck participate? Sure, as long as they're, processing cards, which I'm sure they are. So that's a great question and a good point for us to add. How much is the commission that the merchant need to pay? Again, we're shooting for 15%. If they want to pay more, they certainly can. I mean, the way I always position is the more commission we get, the more we're giving back to the customer, the unfranchised owner and their customer, which means they're going to come in more often. Because if I'm looking at two pizzerias and one pays 8% cash back and one pays 5% cash back, or one pays 10%, one pays 5%, I'm going to gravitate towards the one that pays more. Unless, of course, the pizza's that much better, right? But the more commission we get, the more we give back. I would explain that, the loyalty aspect of what we do is key to everything. So our people are very loyal. Everyone on this call is loyal. You're going to use it. So now I'm just seeing another one. Airline tickets. I can't think of a scenario where that would work because we'd have to have the airline or, well, let me back up. A travel agency potentially could be a shop local merchant. Again, you'd have to pay with a card, couldn't pay by check or anything like that. But they could potentially incentivize shop local to be listed there. So that's maybe not a bad idea. American Airlines isn't going to do it, but a local travel agency maybe would. Oh boy, let's see. Vape shops. I'm not sure about that one. Tobacco could be, I don't know if they consider that tobacco or not, but that could be on the restricted list. And that doesn't come from us, guys. That comes from like Visa and MasterCard. Typically, they don't want to marry up that MID with another company, et cetera, doing those types of businesses. But I don't know for sure. So that's a great takeaway question. I see gas station come up again. I'd love to get cash back on gas. But there are some programs out there that will pay cash back. I've tried to partner with some of those companies so that we could offer that. It needs to be a nationwide brand though to really make it work. But again, I won't spend a ton of time on that. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm going to pause there. Keep putting stuff in the chat if you have anything, and then I'm going to look. Do we not have Q&A in there? I want to make sure we hit if anybody put anything in the Q&A, but I only see chat. Am I missing something here? Anyway, Tony, I'll trust that you got the chat and the Q&A if anything have it. What if the restaurant has a gambling area? I think we're probably okay there. Like maybe they have the slot machines or maybe in the back. I kind of like that. Eat and spin the wheel. I like it. Let's see. Oh, no Q&A. Okay, great. All right, so let me share again. And let me go here. Okay. So you should be able to see shop local. Tony, message me if you can't. Here is the landing page that I showed you earlier. And I'm just going to click a few of these. So any of these sign up now, but they always say don't do live session. But you guys, again, for family, right? So if I mess up, you'll just tell me. You won't kill me for it. But all the sign up now buttons here, I mean, we've got them all over because we want to do it. Oh, I forgot to mention the frequently asked questions. If you click that, it opens up a Word document and it's got some FAQs. I encourage you to go look at that. Again, this is for the merchant. So, the merchant can click on this, but it's good for you to be aware of it. Here's some ideas of the types of businesses. We could also make this available necessarily in the back office. I don't know how useful it would be because it's on the site. But again, all the information is here, all the benefits. how it works. You know, I mean, this to me, this visual works really good for me because they display an offer within the app and on desktop. The consumer makes a transaction, and then we bill them at the end of the month. Um, the other thing I was going to go back to that $60. If it becomes an issue, and this is how I would handle it, is that it's an integration fee, and they're getting their listing, their business listed here. Oh, you know what? When I'm switching screens, you probably are only seeing that same window. Let me stop sharing. Let me do something real quick. Okay, here we go. Now you guys can see it probably. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I know I probably said this, and I'm not looking at the chat, but I'll let me take one more look at it. Is this recorded? Yes. All these businesses from shot local. Okay. All right. I was just making sure I didn't miss anything. So again, if my screen wasn't showing this because I was on that one window, it's a setting, but you click FAQs right here, it opens up this Word document. So I know you're able to see it now, which is great. And I encourage you to go check it out. It addresses a lot of some of the questions that you guys have asked, but more importantly, it's going to address what the merchants ask a lot of times. So call it out to them. Let them know that that's there. Maybe we need to make it stand out more. But we do have it hyper, in blue. We could maybe draw more attention to it. But I really want to show this video, and I'll show it, and then I'll come back, check the Q&A again, and then I'll say some goodbyes. But let's watch this real quick.
Shop local.
I'm gonna open up watch it on YouTube.
So helps bring customers to you, generating valuable exposure and increased revenue for your local business. If you accept credit or debit cards, Shop Local requires no additional staff training, software, or equipment. Customers simply make purchases at your store with their activated card, and we take care of the rest. The cashback rewards for your customers are automatic. No vouchers, no hassle. Customers will discover your promotion via Shop Local's web and mobile app from shop.com, as well as through word-of-mouth marketing and direct email campaigns. Each month, we provide you with a detailed report, including information about revenue and the number of transactions we deliver, so you'll be able to track exactly how much business Shop Local brings you. The program can deliver you new customers and increased sales. With Shop Local, attract full-price customers to your business, only paying a small commission when we drive profitable sales to your business. If you're a local business that accepts credit and debit card transactions, then you're a perfect fit for Shop Local. To learn more, please contact the person who referred you or email us at shoplocal@shop.com.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, here we go. So again, and that video will play. You don't have to go to YouTube. You can watch it right here.
Local helps bring customers to you, generating valuable exposure.
So you don't have. I just clicked on YouTube just to make it bigger and whatnot, but you can actually make it bigger right here. Okay, so let me stop sharing. I know we're coming up on time too. I like the QR code idea, Greg. It's actually a good idea. The only thing is the QR code would have to be unique to you. So it would be something we'd have to create when you download the PDF. Because what I don't want to have happen, and hopefully you guys could hear the sound. I messaged that. I just don't know. Sometimes sound works weird. You have to enable it or whatever. I'm seeing that, but hopefully you could hear it. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the QR code. What I don't want to have happen with the leave behind piece is if we just were to put the URL in there, you may not get credit. You could go to corporate, and I don't want that to happen. So I just want to make sure. But I like the idea, and it's something we should investigate. Annette, thank you. If we could create it on the fly using the Copilot, et cetera, that would be cool. I just want to make sure that when you share that link, either from, mobile or the app, make sure you're sharing it from your shop.com site, you're signed in, et cetera. Worst case scenario, the merchant signs up and you tell me later on, hey, merchant signed up and, I didn't get credit or whatever, we'll fix it. I don't think we're going to have a lot of crossover there with unfranchised owners talking to the same merchant, but there may be some. So I just want to make sure that, whoever gets the relationship and signs them up gets credit. Okay. Um, any questions you have around your own marketing efforts or advertising that you want to do, just reach out to us at the Shop Local email box and we can guide you through that. I'm okay with it. Whatever works for you. What you don't want to do is go pull out the yellow pages, and just kind of blindly send a bunch of stuff to merchants, because I don't think that's going to be effective, in my opinion. Now, if it works for you, great. You may offend some people, but if it works, it's really like our business is built on the relationship. And so that's the foundation. I think if you have a one-on-one conversation with the merchant, build that relationship, it's going to be much better than just blindly sending an email or dropping off flyers at businesses and hoping that they click through and sign up. It's not going to benefit you as much as it will by building that relationship. Because again, I think they could be a customer, and I think they could be an opportunity for a prospect. So when sharing the video, you want to share the page, your page on your shop.com site. Let me just, because I'm going to make sure that we're all on the same page here, because we have a minute. So from here, what I would do is go down here to the bottom, if everybody can see. And when I click on this, you'll see my name, just like your name, is going to be in your shop.com site. So I would copy this link and share from here, versus sharing from this video. I don't think it's going to track that way. You want to share the page, because the page is what connects it to you. Okay, I'm done going back. All great suggestions in here, and I'm probably not able to capture it all. Thank goodness we have AI these days. We'll be able to summarize this. I love this feedback. I love your engagement. Again, teamwork makes the dream work. I'll go back to how I opened it. Tawny and I are here to help. Email us at the Shop Local email box. We'll get this leave behind piece posted. The page on your shop.com site, I believe it's live now. Yeah, it is live now. I just checked it. We had it in our staging environment, and I just want to make sure that it is live, but I believe Tawny was able to get that live today, so that's great. Again, there's going to be a few of you that are ambassadors here that really give it a try, love it, and maybe you need some help with some of the merchants. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to work with anybody. But like in our business, you only have time to work with the right people. So, if you have an interest, please reach out, and I'll help you as much as I can. Would love to create a few success stories, which I know we can. But you're also focusing on your business and selling BV products and sponsoring and hitting the double peg. So I get it. But this, I think, is a nice addition. And again, I'll go back to new unfranchised owners. Just link their card and they're earning cash back. It's an instant win, or an early win that they can get. Whereas BV takes some time, you got to get to 1,200 and 1,200. You got to get some customers, you got to get some repeat purchases, that type of thing. And it takes a little time, but, and I don't want to distract from that, but I do think that this is just a nice compliment. And again, that end goal is building the relationship with that merchant. You get them on and you're driving some transactions in there, great. He's going to listen to you. He's going to want to know what you do. So I wish you all the best. I could talk all night, but time is valuable. I appreciate your time tonight and all you guys do in the field. And I look forward to seeing you at leadership school, but we'll see each other before then on some webinars, and reach out to me. Everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining. Love you guys.